It gives us immense pleasure today to welcome here to Parliament this morning a great military leader who is also a great worker for peace. I'm absolutely delighted to introduce former IDF Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Shaul Mofaz, to address you this morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be able to address such an important event as this with so many respected delegates, ministers, ambassadors, members of the Knesset, members of the British Parliament, friends and experts. I would like to thank the organizers, including BICOM, the Israel Solidarity Campaign, and the Jewish News, for inviting me and allowing me the opportunity to address you this morning. I understand that in recent weeks there have been reports of shoes mysteriously going missing in the middle of the night. Let me please state here and now for the record, your shoes are in no danger while at this conference. This conference is called Shared Strategic Challenges for a good reason. From a world of localized disputes, we have reached a point where the world faces common threats and challenges. The instability in the Middle East, the fear of nuclear Iran, the global terror, the dangers of ISIS, and the Palestinian issue are not Israel's concern alone. We are also witnessing a deepening of the war between the Sunni and the Shiite Muslims. Its bloody conflict is now approaching a critical mass that could spill out into an even wider conflict. These are issues that the world must face together. We need a united front to succeed. Israel faces also another danger, the imminent threat posed by what is now called the BDS movement. The BDS movement should be of the same concern to the rest of the world as it is to Israel. I believe that the threat posed by this movement must be faced in the same manner that we have dealt with any other threat against our nation. We need to plan strategically, we need to cooperate, and we need to allocate the adequate resources to fight this evil. The hypocritical BDS movement harms prospects for peace rather than bringing both sides together in order to achieve a mutual understanding and agreement. BDS widens the gap between where we are today and where we want to be in the future. The common chant and anti-Israeli demonstrations across Europe and America openly called for the destruction of Israel. The slogan, "From the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free," demonstrates their true desire that Israel should not exist. Their silence over the millions of refugees across Syria and Iraq and the hundreds of thousands of deaths caused by the fighting shows that these groups can no longer claim to be pro-Palestinian and must be seen as what they truly are, simply and only anti-Israel. With the brutal image of ISIS beheading being shown across the world, why is Israel the target of the BDS? Once again, we are witnessing the violent rise of anti-Semitism across Europe, and the BDS movement plays a central role in this. Relative international inaction against the BDS movement in recent years has allowed it to grow and to attain a form of legitimacy that it does not deserve. For too long, their deeds and motives have gone unchallenged and their supporters unchecked. This must stop now. The battle for Israel's legitimacy is being fought on campuses, high streets, and in homes across the world, and we must not be afraid to stand up for what we know to be right. We must fight BDS at every corner. We are not a weak people. We are determined to fight this threat, and we will fight this threat. This is the reason that we are here, and we will continue to be here, and in every corner in the world, to stop the anti-Semitism and the BDS movement. My friends, but the issue of the Palestinian is a real one, which we must treat seriously and properly. Today there is an opportunity for promoting the widely accepted two-state solution. This is the only solution, the two-state solution. This is the only solution. There is no other way. The common threat faced by the different actors in the region and the fact that our neighborhood has become more dangerous and extreme, we have created an opportunity to form an alliance of moderates. The situation in the Middle East and the chaos in certain states created an opportunity to form an alliance of moderates. Single steps towards solving the Palestinian issue are not sufficient. We need the collaboration, the support, and the accountability of the Arab League and countries such as Jordan, Egypt, the Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. These are potential partners who can work with Israel and the West, countering the threat and providing opportunities. Across the Middle East, we are witnessing the crumbling of old regimes and the expansion and growth of new entities such as ISIS. It is difficult to predict what will happen over the next few years, but the West must develop and implement a connected strategy in how it is to deal with the threat of ISIS, the global terror, the Palestinian issue, and the looming reality of nuclear Iran. Now is the right time to hold an international conference, bringing together the Arab League, Israel, the Palestinian, Western countries, in order to work together to create a coordinated strategy. From my personal experience as someone who has spent 40 years in working for the defense of my country, it is crucial that we are able to secure our borders and that our security issues are well taken care of. Our Arab neighbors are now facing these same issues, and we can take this opportunity to work together for a better and safer future for us all. If the alliance of moderates is a goal for the Middle East, an international conference is a global goal. We also share another common threat. I have spent over 20 years closely following Iranian matters, and I am confident in my assumption that Iran wants to be a nuclear force with nuclear military capability. There is no question about it. If this was not the case, then certain questions need to be asked as to why the Iranians are always delaying the talks. Why? What is the reason that they are delaying the talks? Why has the dialogue that began with Rouhani 2 years ago still going on to this day? And most importantly, why are the Iranians so stubborn in talks with the P5+1? As the talks approach their deadline at the end of June, we must expect that Iran regime to do all that they can to ensure that this deadline is missed and that talks continue even into 2016 in order to pressure the West, in particular President Obama, as he tries to achieve a successful conclusion before leaving office. The West must stand firm against the Iranian regime. As part of any agreement, there must be the complete cessation of Iran's nuclear R&D and uranium enrichment programs. There must be also open and unhindered access of inspections of all Iran's nuclear facilities. Only then can we consider it appropriate to begin a gradual removal of sanctions, beginning with the lightest ones and moving forward only when and if Iran implements the agreement. Any softening of sanctions against Iran before these measures have been carried out will only encourage their continued stubbornness in the face of demands from the West. According to according to what has been published so far about any permanent agreement, let me tell you this. This is a bad agreement for Israel. This is a bad agreement for the world. Iran will continue to maintain its nuclear infrastructure. It will continue with its R&D program, and in a short time will be able to transfer from being nuclear threshold state to having a nuclear bomb. In almost every current conflict in the Middle East today, we see the evil arm of Iran's ever-growing desire to control the region. In Syria, through its influence, in Lebanon, by arming Hezbollah with long-range missiles threatening Israel, through to the Yemen, where it has brought a poor country to its needs, and of course in Gaza with long-standing support and influence over Hamas and Jihad and other terrorist organizations. My friend, it is clear Iran is involved in global terror in every aspect. Now add in the factor of them being a nuclear power, and the world really does become a different place, a much more dangerous place. More than that, it is very clear to us that once Iran has nuclear power, that all the Sunni countries will join the nuclear arms race, and we all understand the outcome of such an event. The West has continually stated that all options are on the table, but we need to be serious about that. Empty threats are meaningless, and keeping the military option as a last option. It was the effectiveness of the economic sanctions on Iran that brought them to the negotiation table, not any true desire to reach a mutual agreement. Any lifting of these sanctions before tangible and long-lasting restrictions have been put in place will only encourage them to continue their deceit and to continue to work towards achieving nuclear capabilities. Israel is not the only country in the region that has genuine fear of a nuclear Iran. Behind the scenes, talks between Saudi Arabia and Israel are suddenly becoming more public as the Arab countries begin to realize who really is the bad guy here. While Israel must continue to play such a diplomatic game with its neighbors, an alliance of moderates could actually bring real opportunities to the region. Distinguished guests, as I conclude my talk with you, let me say that I believe that the challenges that Israel and the West face today are greater than they have ever been before. But I also believe that there are opportunities. In this time of turmoil, I hope that our leaders are courageous enough and prepared to take what may seem uncomfortable and even painful decisions to achieve a greater good. The opportunity of regional collaboration in the Middle East is one that we have not seen before. Now is the time for an alliance of moderates we need to take action and to promote this idea. I see the West, and especially you, the British people, as leaders of such an initiative, taking the lead in initiating an international conference with the relevant stakeholders. When I look around and I come across organizations like BICOM and others sitting here today, I would hope that you will put this idea at the top of your agenda and take the lead in its promotion. I would like to say to our ambassador, Danny Tao, for an excellent job in the last 4 years. It has been a great honor to speak with you today, and thank you very much.